What's up guys, it's Jake. Today I want to talk about planting trees and shrubs and whatever else in Carolina clay or just red clay in general. If you're in the southeast, you've probably got some of the same problems as we have here. If your soil does not drain well, you might not want to follow the manufacturer's instructions. There's going to be a lot of people out there that say, do this, do that. Those things are highly variable, and it really depends on your type of soil. If your soil does not percolate well, if it does not drain well, if you put your root ball down in that, and it's not a plant that you've researched to be very, very tolerant of wet locations like bald cypress, you may be issuing it a death sentence, because most plants do not want to sit in constant water. And what happens when you dig down in this hard red clay and then you backfill with amended soil, the good black stuff with all the nutrients, what happens is you're letting that water just sit in that hardened clay hole and collect in that amended donut that you made, and your roots are just saturated all the time. Trees don't like that. They like to be wet and then they dry out. If they're just wet all the time, you're gonna experience root rot. That's what's happened to me quite a few times. But today I wanna talk about how to overcome these challenges. Here I've got a green giant arborvitae. It's a very, very popular choice for privacy hedging. It grows tall, it grows pretty quick, it grows nice and dense, does get a little discoloration during the winter months, but overall it's a good performer here in the southeast. It does tolerate our hard clay, but there's still some things you want to do to make sure that you're going to set yourself up for success with these plants. Number one, most of what I see on the back of these tags, especially if you get it from a big box store, even some nurseries, won't really give you great planting instructions. What I found on my property here in North Carolina with hard red clay, if I follow the instructions that say dig down as deep as the root ball and twice as wide and then backfill with amended soil, it doesn't work. Not for me, it might not for you. Please hear me out. If you do dig down and break up that soil and aerate it and loosen it up, especially if it's really compacted, but then put it back. So I'm gonna take that dirt that I just took out of here and I'm gonna put it right back. Drench it down, let it settle again, and put your root ball on top of it. I mean, on top of the grade. Before you do anything else, grab a garden claw and go around and make sure that if your plant is root bound, that you're loosening some of that up and letting it know that it's ready to stretch its legs. And then take native soil from somewhere around your property that's very, very similar in soil structure to what you have there in that site. Bring it in and mound up to that the top of the root ball. As you're building up your mound, you're going to have a lot of clods in there. Just break them up real quick with the claw. There's one important distinction to make between this technique and a mulch volcano. This technique, we're only building up to the root flare. We are not going in after the fact and smothering the tree by building up a mulch volcano that's going far above the established root flare. That will most likely kill your tree. This is not that, even though the final product may look similar to that. Once your mound is complete, you can go around with a gentle pressing motion, just locking that tree into the vertical position, making sure that it's not tilted one way or the other. If you want to amend, which isn't a bad idea, you're doing it at the very, very top after you've made that red clay volcano. Right here behind me is a perfect example of me planting with that method that I just showed you with pretty good success. I brought this Deodora cedar home last spring and it was super yellow. I got it half off, so I thought, why not? I planted it with this method, and since then it's finally starting to shoot some new buds, show some new growth, and it's starting to turn back a bit more green, so that's pretty exciting. On this one right here, I did go the extra mile, and I did put some large stone encircling it just to prevent any erosion from rain. Now, this might only work if you have my type of soil. I would maybe even do the exact opposite thing if you have sandy soil, where you have really good drainage and you want to hold some water in. Maybe you put it down in the ground like what is suggested. If you found this information helpful, please click that like button, and if you want to follow along and see how these things do over time, I'll be posting yearly updates, so please click that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.